About 2,800 years ago, there lived a civilization of people called the ancient Greeks. Today, part of the area where this ancient civilization lived is called Greece. Long ago, however, the ancient Greeks lived on a much larger area of land. The boundaries or edges of ancient Greece spread widely to the east and west, into many areas bordering on the Black Sea to the north, and across hundreds of islands in the Mediterranean and Aegean seas. Expeditions, or journeys by land and by ship, allowed the ancient Greeks to travel as far west as present-day Britain and as far east as India. The ancient Greeks traveled to explore far-off lands and also to trade, or buy and sell, goods with people from other areas. The ancient Greeks were similar to other ancient civilizations in some ways. They had writing systems, leaders and laws, religions, and different people to do different jobs. And all of these ancient civilizations, the Egyptians, Mesopotamians, Indians, Chinese, Maya, Inca, Aztec, and Greeks, discovered ways to design and build magnificent structures or buildings that can still be seen today. You will see pictures of some of these structures in another lesson. The ancient Greeks, however, were also different from other ancient civilizations in many important ways. Unlike the Egyptians and Mesopotamians, the Greeks did not develop around a great river like the Nile in Egypt or the Tigris and Euphrates near Babylon. Greek land was not as fertile as the land near those wide flooding rivers. Greece is a land of high, rugged, or uneven and rocky mountains, and in many parts, farming for the ancient Greeks was a struggle. It is difficult to farm on mountains and rugged land. You are going to hear about one type of hardy or strong tree, however, that the ancient Greeks were able to grow in abundance, or in great amounts. In addition to being farmers, some Greeks were also shepherds who took care of sheep on this rugged land. Some Greeks built harbors near the Black, Aegean, and Mediterranean seas, and many became expert sailors and fishermen using boats. The largest island in the Mediterranean Sea was known, and is still known today, as Crete. Because they were surrounded by water, the ancient Greeks on the island of Crete became especially skilled seafarers, a name for people such as fishermen and sailors who earn a living by working at sea. The high Greek mountains also made a difference in the way ancient Greece was ruled. Because the mountains split Greece into lots of little valleys, it was very difficult to move from place to place. Many Greeks stayed in one place and married people from the same community. Each city and each valley became its own little nation, which we refer to today as a city-state. Each city-state had its own government and its own laws, which controlled the surrounding area. All the ancient Greek city-states shared the same language, although each city-state had different dialects, or slightly different ways of speaking the language. Sometimes the Greeks had the same ideas of how to live their lives, but they did those things independently of one another. The word independently means acting on your own, or in a way that is free from the control of other people or things. In fact, the ancient Greeks were highly competitive, and only in an emergency would they work together. After each emergency, each city-state would go back to independently minding its own business. People in each city-state thought of themselves less as united Greeks, and more as citizens of their particular city-state. The ancient Greeks looked at the world around them very differently from the way other people of their time looked at things. For example, you are going to hear the story of how one city-state decided not to have a king anymore. Not only was this different from what other Greeks were doing, it was completely different from what the Mesopotamians and Egyptians had done before. and from what the Aztec, Inca, and other civilizations would do in the future. You will hear more about this later. For now, all I will say is that the Greeks had a unique, or special, and one-of-a-kind way of seeing and thinking about things. We have a lot of exciting adventures ahead of us as we learn about the unique way the ancient Greeks lived and thought about things, and how their many contributions are a part of our lives today. Contributions are things or ideas that are shared and passed on because they are helpful and good.